Hello, this is Andrew Davey with Nevada Forward, and we're here with Sue Bird with the Nevada Alliance for Retired Americans. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for coming down and joining us as we fight for our benefits and our America under our First Amendment.
So, another Tuesday, and you have and Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and already we have a little crowd over here outside Senator Dean Heller's office. Why is that?
Well, because we have got to stop the tax scam. I happen to have printed out what's planned for these automatic cuts. Because
that is the report that the Federal
OMB,
Office of Management and Budget printed earlier this year of possible mandatory budget cuts.
That's correct. So Medicare itself is going to have a 2% cut to their budget. Food stamps is in their 6.6% that there is a cut for. Our military retirement, 8.9. Our military retirement. These people that have worked and given so much for our country, and they want to cut their retirement.
Now, for those in the audience, I'm sure some are wondering, wait, we thought Congress was debating a tax cut package. So why are people now talking about these possible budget cuts? What's going on?
Well, there's a mandatory, and I can't get into all the details because it's kind of deep. But in 1985, during the Reagan years, if I'm not mistaken, they put in a law called the Balanced Budget Emergency Deficit Control Act. So it forces us to put these cuts in.
And I'd add that there's an additional law that Congress passed in 2011 as part of that deal to raise the debt ceiling that requires certain spending restrictions called sequestration. And then on top of that, there is a law that Congress passed in 2010 called Pay As You Go.
Yes.
To basically allay concerns that Congress is spending too much and is adding too much to the national debt. So as a result, even though right now Congress they want the conversation to officially be about tax cuts, the catch is if they pass the package as is, the tax package will trigger these automatic budget cuts, as I understand it.
That's how I understand it too.
Yeah.
So one of them, if they cut Medicaid and Medicare, it affects people, and Social Security cannot enforce price controls, and Congress could go out and say, hey, you can't raise these prices on medical prescriptions just because you want to. We have seniors that are making choices. Am I going to eat today, or am I going to take my medicine? So, that's not good either. And if big businesses wanted to lower their taxes, they could pay people more, which would give them larger expenses, which would cut their bottom line, and they would pay less taxes, because we pay taxes on what we earn, and they pay it on the difference between their revenue and their expenses. So I don't get that this is a tax cut for the middle class. Thank you for your time.
And I think that's another interesting point, which is that's become a big flashpoint in this tax debate, in that in the House version of the Trump tax plan, they want to roll back deductions for individuals, and in the Senate version of the plan, they eliminate state and local tax deductions for individuals entirely.
That's right, and some of that is medical expenses, and you have to have a very high limit of expenses before you are able to claim
that's
that
in
deduction.
the House version of the plan.
That's right, and you are very, very sick if you have to claim those deductions. So again, It's hurting the small people, the people that have disabilities, the seniors, that they're taking things away. So the 1% can what? Get a deduction if you own an airplane? You can't take medical, but if you own an airplane, then you can get a tax deduction. That is not American. That is not American.
And again, that's an interesting point in that in both the House and Senate versions, some deductions for individuals are taken away, but thus far there's no repeal of corporate tax deductions.
That's correct. That's correct. So, like I said, get rid of all their deductions and just say it's wages and benefits that they provide for their employees, like getting rid of the ACA. I have friends that is all they can. If they didn't have the ACA, they wouldn't have medical care for their families. So we need to think about Americans and be Americans and support each other.
And finally, is there anything else so far that you've found in either version of this tax plan that people need to know about that you think hasn't gotten as much attention as it should?
Oh boy, off the top of my head, there's just so many things that are being taken away from working families, our deductions and our health care that, I mean, it's striking. I feel as though they just want us to die, to die and go away. And that's a terrible feeling to feel in America.